Hey. Good evening. I guess that's the word, right? I just woke up from a nap myself. Guys, I'm so tired. You probably can tell. We gotta have these. Gotta get some energy from somewhere. I had a nap. I hope your day went well. How did y'all day go? How did y'all day go? Yes. Yes. Had to retype that in because it wouldn't let me do the live screen from the phone. How did y'all day go today? How did your day go today? Let me know how your day went. Tomorrow is Friday. Today was Friday Eve. So a lot of you might be off work tomorrow. Some of y'all have it set up like that. So as I set this up, there it go right there. Let's see. Disclaimer. The videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend an institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution in one of these positions while speaking on this live stream or many more in the future. Speaking on behalf of Creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. Y'all can hear me? I feel like I'm muffled, but hopefully y'all can hear me. And so I'm gonna do a test as I'm setting up right now, guys. Let me see. Waking up slowly. Waking up. Hey, I'm catching up. We have not got sleep since I don't know when. Hey, this will come with the territory though. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Hold on right quick. Testing. Let me see. Hold on. Say something. You gonna say something? Oh, let's mute it. Hold on. Music on still. Let me see. Okay, there you go. Okay. Troubleshooting. Okay, there. How did y'all day go? Okay. Alright, perfect. Alright, set that up. Yes. We have some things to talk about. What's up, G? As we setting up, I am setting up. That is the breaking news. Let me open this up right quick. Get some sleep. Pinch. Not as much sleep as I need to get. I am so behind on sleep, man. It makes no sense. Ever since that military weekend threw my sleep schedule all the way off. I have not slept in since. Let me look at the calendar real quick. I have not slept in since. I want to say this might sound crazy. Sunday since that August 30th weekend. After that weekend from Monday, September 1st to now, it's been straight up. Just straight. Straight like that. Shoot, I usually try to get 8 I'll usually probably get 6 to 7. Yeah, it's been rough. As long as I can get on here and do what I need to do, we good. We good. We can fight through though. We can fight. As I set this up, I got so many tabs open right now. I will come back to that. I promise you. I will come back to it, computer. I wonder why it's not showing that you're in there. I'm not gonna worry about it. I can see it on the computer. A couple of weeks, yeah. Exactly. And then I want to scratch you much today. No, you good, you good. You good. Where is it? I found the first one, just trying to make sure the second one shows up. All right, there you go. It should be all in one because they both happened yesterday. I was gonna do a breaking news yesterday. I had class today. Tell me about it. Like, that really would have been throwing it off. I had that weekend in the military. Yeah, I had class twice this week. Then I've been going to the gym. Life don't do you right sometimes, G. Life does not do you right. I promise you. Life don't do you right sometimes. All right. First things first. Charlie Kirk was assassinated on the campus. It's interesting that this happened because we were just talking about how I want to say the last live stream we were talking about how divided we were as a country right now. We were just talking about that. You have been a busybody these last couple of weeks. We just talked about that. And then before that, somebody asked us, I don't know if you remember, G, somebody asked us about Charlie Kirk. And I didn't even know who he was. I learned about him through a live stream. You know, he's the one that wrote the books about college is a scam and some other things, right? I wasn't much of a follower of him. And personally, the algorithm never sent me his stuff. I always had other conservatives, but not him. So this happened at Utah Valley University. So Utah Valley, which is that's the school we're going to talk about because I never heard of Utah Valley. You know, and some other things to talk about. Utah, no, Colorado. I'm thinking of. So it's out there, Utah Valley University. We're going to talk about that. So that happened to him. So they're telling us about what he did, of course. But more of all, first thing to talk about with Charlie is that this happened on a college campus. Not talking about the college yet, but this happened on the college campus, which is like going back to the beginning of what I like to talk about for students is that you want to stay on the college campus oftentimes, but you're not safe. And yesterday, when it happened, it's like you don't wish death on nobody. First and foremost, at least in the way I grew up with my parents and the way I grew up, period, you don't wish death on nobody. So we did mention that we were at a time of division as a country. We're more divided. And then to add on, G, it's funny you're in here, which is perfect right now. We was not too long ago in a session. I won't say which school. I had 2 classes today. I had class at work and class recently. I won't say which one, but we were talking about a school called, I said school like we don't know the school. It was like University of Nevada. So University of Nevada, how can I put it? What was it? University of Nevada. I wrote it down. So University of Nevada had a situation with their campus, and we were talking about situational scenarios. If we were like a president of a college, what would we do about that situation? So the situation was the school had a student who was like a white supremacist, something like that, some Nazis, whatever. They formed together, but this all happened back in 2016 to 2017, and I was a senior in high school when this happened. So if you start from fall 2016 and you come back to now, that will be 10 years ago, this upcoming fall 2026. And when this happened, and I'm just like, dang, it was a university. I don't know if you heard about it, G, or read about it, or like, came across this article at school, or just, reading as you do. But the University of Nevada had a situation like that. It was about, like I said, white supremacist group and Nazi. And so we was addressing the situation as if we were college presidents and applying theory. But the thing about it, like I said before, is that this happened almost a decade ago. And you think about where we're at now, leading up to what happened to Charlie, man, it's just like, why are we not progressing as a country? Like, I get he had his views, right? Who doesn't have their own views? But was it that much to do that to him? That much? And then, you don't want to put out no form of type of hate against people, because you never know how people would react. Like and subscribe. And so I don't think death should have been the answer. And then it goes into that topic everybody's talking about now, and the media outlet is talking about gun violence. According to the Chronicles of Higher Education, they said he was shot while being asked about gun violence. According to the Associated Press, do you know how many? It said right here, he was in the middle saying this. Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years? And then an event attendee asked, Kirk responded, too many. And then after that, it kind of just, the rest. And so you're on the college campus. I can't stress this enough. School just started in August. Imagine if you're a parent. Imagine if you're a student. School just started in August. Oh, yeah, school just started in August, and it's September. And you're going to a campus event, rightfully. Your civic duty, right? Part of democracy. And, more gun violence, more campus violence. If you are a student, 20 grand is not going to keep you safe on campus, first and foremost. I'm brightening up the screen, guys. 20 grand staying on campus, eating the meal plans on campus is not going to keep you safe. It's not. It's not going to keep you safe. Should you pay that money? No. I'm just more convinced of really don't live on campus. In this time right now, since people don't really know how to handle things per se, I really feel like people stay away from advice. Stay away from these events, man. It's not safe to go to political events. I'm convinced. It's not even safe no more. It's not safe. You got a better chance to go into a rap concert or any type of entertainment concert at this point than going to educational settings, which is crazy to say. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. The progression of it is ridiculous. I think about when I was in high school back in 2016, 2017. I'm not gonna say not one mass shooting, but I'm just gonna say it was you know, a lot. I wasn't training to be shot by a mass shooter in high school. You know, kids wasn't preparing if a mass shooter came to the school. They have to do that today. So it's just remember, guys, if you think you feel safer by staying on campus at a college, paying money, you still want that college experience. It's just something to think about. You're better off at home your first 2 years, and you're better off your last 2 years staying in an apartment in your own facility. Personally, until colleges can get a grip on this, so they can keep people protected. I just so, but please don't wish death on nobody. That's not the way. That's not the way at all. It makes you tired, man. It makes you really tired. It makes you more tired. It makes you tired. It makes you don't even want to say certain things. Like, is it worth your life? You know, like, is it worth your life? If you really believe in it, but is it really worth your life, man? It was just his opinion, just what his perspective. That's why we had open dialogues, like they did back in the day. So, and then there's not much more to say on that, cause it's just disappointing, man. It's disappointing. It's disappointing as a country, honestly. And he was 31. On top of that, he was 31. That's young. I'm not even 31 yet. Like, imagine you made all this progression in life, and then you had your like I said, you had your perspectives. Because when I talked on the live screen before about it, if you can go find it, if anybody wants to go find it on that live screen, 'cause I think I wrote it in my notes. I can't remember. Y'all know me. If I can't find it when I'm looking real quick, because I backtrack. Wasn't that long ago? I would say, look. I had wrote down to reach out to Charlie Kirk when that person mentioned it on the live screen. Because why not, right? Why did Charlie feel like college was a scam? Open dialogue. Now, you know, perspective. And that's why I say education is valuable. No, I ain't gonna find it. I know we talked about it. It was during the summer for sure. That was a good live screen. But that's why you should go. That's why people need to go back to college. That's why people need to go to school. And that's why we gotta get these prices down. Because as long as people, the person could have went to college though, but whoever did that, you know, I don't know. I really don't have no answers to say. But more of all, campus safety is everything. All right. So, minority serving institutions. Minority serving institutions lost funding. I want to do breaking news on this for sure. I want to do breaking news on this so bad yesterday. But school, let me tell you this, school gonna put you in some weird situations where you be like, look, you want to risk your grade or you want to risk your content? You want to risk your grade? You want to risk your business? Like, oh my goodness. So minority serving institutions, no more? Question mark by Per Chronicle Higher Education. It's hardly everywhere right now about this going on, man. Higher education been on a tear. I couldn't tell you it was a better time to be doing content on higher education, and that people, like it's described, that people are not really like jumping on the opportunity, not caring, I guess. I feel like higher education though, I feel like we're gonna have, and people out there, I feel like higher education gonna have that run eventually. Hopefully that run of like how people care about the stock market or financial markets and stuff. Remember, it was a time where people didn't really too much care about looking that up on YouTube. I feel like higher education is going to be like that eventually because it just affects people. So the U.S. Department of Education, let me start with this first. It says supporters of federal grants for minority serving institutions have argued the funding isn't discriminatory because it benefits all students at colleges that get money, not just those of a certain race. The Trump administration now officially disagrees. So right here it says the U.S. Department of Education yanked $350 million from grants. $350 million from grants for minority serving institutions on Wednesday. Guys, I don't know if that 350 million is total or I know you still here. I know you still here. I don't know if that 350 million is total. Like each school had that minority money of like an additional. Yeah, I'm assume that they don't get crazy. They get crazy money. Like they'll probably some schools get like 10 million worth of minority serving institution money. If they meet, remember guys, it's when your school has a certain demographic, certain race, a quota of that. So if your school has 25% of, I believe it's 25%, if they have a 1/4% of Hispanics, for example, they're going to get additional funding at their school. If they have a certain percentage of black students, or I'm going to say it's black students, I don't know what they label it as, African American or black students, but if you have a certain percentage of that, you get additional funding money. And like I tell you, the funding money is important because that creates jobs for students. That too for students. That creates positions. So somebody who prefers to work with their demographic and how they grew up, that opens up job positions for them. Now that's going to cut jobs. Instructors. Some instructors were probably literally brought in to relate to students because it matters. I said that sometimes when we're doing a college review. It helps when you have someone who looks like you and can relate to you and understand you. And so when you go to school, it makes you feel included as you're learning. So, but colleges can qualify as minority serving institutions based on enrollment demographics. For example, predominantly black institution grants are set aside for institutions where at least 40% of students are black. So if you go to like my school, Georgia State, for example, could be affected by this. Valdosta State University could be affected by this. Valdosta State, if I'm not mistaken, it's a way I can look at it, but I don't remember how to look at it. I believe I had to go on like the financial aid website, I believe. It's a way to look at it. And so G right here says something before we keep going because we gotta enjoy our chat. You gotta use that as we keep going, guys. So right here. So G said, you know what's funny? Some black people were fawning over Trump for continuing some of that. Some black people were fawning over Trump for continuing some of that funding his first term. LOL talking about how much he support HBCUs, etc. You use phonage. G, I would say, I don't know why I would say Drew. I said G. Like I don't know why Drew is on my mind. Fawning. Fawning describes seeking approval. They were praising it. Interesting. That was a talking point for blacks for Trump a while ago because you know it's true, LOL. So you saying like people were praising it that he was supporting the HBCUs? Like some people were like, yeah, some people were supporting that he kept the funding going. I feel that's bad lighting right there. Why does it look like that? It's smoky. Help me out a little bit, G. I'm following you a little bit. So they were supporting. Are you saying that black people at the time were like, oh, Trump is helping, he's funding the HBCUs and da? Because I remember that. We talked about that before. Not us, but I remember reading about that. Like he had pledged it. It was like his first term. He pledged $1 million Well, that was an excuse people were using to counter his accusations against him. Yeah. Okay, I'm tracking you. I just want to make sure you were going in the. I was making sure I was tracking you right. I didn't want to say the wrong answer. So, yeah. Interesting, right? So now, I had made a post on LinkedIn. I said, this is interesting because most people, like we say, he was sued and lost for not renting to black people in the 70s. Yeah, he he did get that. He did get sued for that. He put that in his book. Hold on, real quick, G. I got it right here. Perfect timing. I think I showed this book before. It's in this book. It's in this book. It's in this book. Trump, the Art of the Deal. It's in that book, and he did everything he could to get some black boys. Oh, yeah, you talking about Central Park, Central Park, Central Park, Central Park. I watched that documentary on Netflix. I watched that. Yes, indeed. And so, yeah, like I say, I think people should do their education on people. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be tuning in. I do my research, man. Like I say, guys, I think it's better to always go to the horse mouth themselves. Go get their books, read it for yourself. We had a conversation about that in class today. We was trying to say, yeah, and among other things, we were trying to put together because this class is very theoretical or applying theoretical approaches like bureaucracy, politics, like all these have categories of theory in them. And so, like right here, I can give you one of them. The point is, he never actually cared about HBCUs. No, I don't think he really cared either, personally. I really don't think he cared about HBCUs, personally. And I'm gonna be real, I don't even think, like, personally, I don't know. I know people don't care about HBCUs. They look like us. As a black person, me, I forego going to HBCU because I knew the people there weren't gonna have I knew the people there wasn't gonna have my best interest. That's why I didn't go to HBCU, to be honest. So if I got people that look like me not caring about a HBCU, I know a person of another demographic does not care about HBCU. And that's a blunt, I feel like, straightforward answer about that. That's one of the reasons why I didn't go in college. I think we talked about that before because I experienced in high school. Thankful for my high school by far. It built more character, but it wasn't focused on my education. Like I felt like the bar was set low, you know, for me. I feel like they didn't really think, like, as part of the school mission, I feel like they didn't think I would, not me personally, like all of us. I don't think they really, like, it's always like in schools like that, they can only focus on like historical black high school, for example, which is no different from a historical black college. And they gonna focus on, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, they gonna focus on like the top, what they call it, G, in high school when you're like valedictorian, salutatorian. They're gonna focus on, in high school, at historical black high school, they're only gonna focus, it's a Title I too at that. They're only gonna focus on like that top 1% in your class. I don't know if it's like the top 1% or anything like that, but let's just say they're gonna focus on the top 1%, which could be like 10 people in my class. They're gonna focus on those 10 kids who can go to college. The rest of us, military route, do a trade, or do nothing. Essentially, you got either military, do nothing. Yes, I did. I went to, we might as well talk about this because it relates to minority serving institutions. So yes, I went to a historical black high school. Yes. And then I see you say you had some peers that went there too. And so I think that happens at most schools in low income areas. Yeah, and that's why I said I don't know if it happened to UG. I know you said you went to a low income school as well. And so that only a select few are thought about going. Right. And so Yes, I did. You can look it up. Yes, William Henry Spencer High School. That's where I attended. You can find it on Google. Only reason I'm saying that because if you look me up, you're probably gonna see my basketball highlights. So nothing crazy though. FY, nothing too crazy. JK. I wasn't the craziest, but you will find my high school, and then my high school is historical because I read it sometimes because I didn't understand the magnitude of going to the school. And so the school was founded because William Henry, in Columbus, Georgia, he was an educator. And so it's funny that, and that's the only one really in Columbia, LOL. Really? What you mean that's the only one in Columbia? Keep going on that, G. Keep elaborating while I talk. And so William Henry, it's funny because William Henry actually didn't have a he didn't have no like formal like college degree. So he eventually went to school at Clark, Atlanta, according to Wikipedia. I would have to go to like a historian or something to get the facts right. But he didn't even have an education. But William Henry Spencer High School was a school for Negroes to attend, because they couldn't go to the segregated, in this time of segregation, they couldn't go to the other schools that were predominantly white. And so, or was white schools. So you couldn't go there. And then it's actually a historical in Columbus because around the 1960s, around that time, like 1960, 1965, of course, you know that time, um, a school called Columbus High School in Columbus became integrated. And so you have students from Carver and Spencer High School in Columbus, Georgia, George Washington Carver High School, GW. You had students from there in that time who left their historical black high schools to go to like Columbus High School. So, people only know about, that's why I say it's like I was getting to the part of independent thinking. That's what college teach you. People think about the mainstream of like that time of like schools, like the first person. Yes, Carver is still open very much. Yeah, they no very. That's a football powerhouse, and like Spencer is a basketball powerhouse. Well, you can't really be a powerhouse till you win state championship. Spencer did, but it's a all good, pretty good powerhouse in basketball. So they're always gonna be better than average. And so I say these things because this, and plus that's what the schools focus on a little bit. And it's just they just don't set the bar high. Looked it up and answered my question. And so many and so they just don't set the bar high, man. And so it's something to talk about. Well, I didn't go to HBCU and I didn't feel like I was gonna get the proper help to get back on topic. I feel like I wasn't gonna get the proper help. Yeah, sports scholarships. Yeah, they get it. And then they go off to college. And so yeah, HBCUs, you know me, it's a lot of same for PWI schools, but I think, man, we're gonna get to a time the way universities are struggling, and you know this too, G, or you probably feel the same way too. With the way universities are struggling, if schools had to close down, I would think the HBCUs would close down. I just don't. I get we tried to bring it back at one point, like what, 2020, 2021. We were trying to bring the HBCUs back. We're gonna have the elites still around for sure. The ones that was started like by Booker T. Washington, the Howard University, Tuskegee. I said Tuskegee, Booker T. Washington, Tuskegee, Spelman, founded by Rockefeller. Rockefeller's pretty much not much on your not much, no, not much. That's why I didn't get no scholarship, not enough film. Yeah, only the reason, yeah, only the really famous ones, definitely. Right. And so I think these other ones who are barely hanging on the thread, and even those are struggling. Right. Like dorms is crazy if we talk about that. And so that's why I feel like going to HBCU wasn't gonna be the move for me. Um, will I be the same person now? Uh, nah, I wouldn't be the same person probably. I'll be more one sided, you know, definitely more one sided. Just from talking to people, you know, I don't like excuses. And G, you know, keep coming with them, because it's all about minority serving institutions, man. And so I feel like people is gonna make excuses about why they're not where they're at, and because they went to HBCU or the system, whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you, like, man, like, you just at a disadvantage. Like, I can't help but stress that you just at a disadvantage, and I think if you stop focusing on that, I got it. I think I got it. Hit the TV. I think if you constantly think about it, like, oh, I'm at a disadvantage, I don't have much resources, I don't have much help, then you believe it. Like, I really feel like you start to believe that, and then G said right here, and even though those are struggling, but there are not public funded sources. I mean non-public funded sources. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not the type to make excuses, man. My dad didn't like that. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. My dad didn't like that. My dad got onto me so much about that in high school. He got onto me so much about that. Like, the things that people, when it come to us, the things like that about, I tell my dad, like, man, they doing favoritism. Da 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 da. They doing nepotism. Not about white or black, just in sports. And he'd be like, don't worry about them. He'll say, don't worry about them. But I was like, they taking my playing time. And he'd be like, and I'd be like, they ain't even go to practice. It ain't even like I was bad. And he was like, don't worry. He would just always say, focus on you. And so it's hard to focus on somebody else. Like, now, like, if you want to put it in race, if you want to put it in jobs, if you want to put it in life not being fair, like, I focus on me. One of the main reasons why I don't do social media. And so, man, like, I focus on me, man. I think a lot of people don't do that today. And I just felt like if going to HBCU, even at the school I'm at now, man, personally, like, I don't like excuses. I don't like excuses. I just, like, you just got to get it. Especially when you got this on your skin. You know, G, when you got this on your skin, man, you just got to get it. And it's just like, I'll tell anybody, it's an open dialogue. Many people don't agree with it, but it's like, bro, you just got to get it. Or you just going to be like, I don't know. You're going to be on your last look. So G said, that's true. I understand. Oh, G said something else. Yeah, unless it's a name brand HBCU. But like I said, I can understand why people go. That's true. I understand the feeling, but I get what your dad was saying as well. Focusing on what you can actually control. Right. Known as the locus of control. When I went to college, when I went to my university, I learned the proper term for that, the locus of control. And then G said, as opposed to being butthurt about the things you can't, be butthurt, experience that feeling, and be butthurt with that experience, with that butthurt. Be butthurt, experience that feeling, and move forward. Yes. And move forward. Yeah. And move forward. And it's so important because in this time now, like, you just got your mind, going back to what we're talking about, minority serving institutions are about to lose funding, which means some people about to lose their jobs. Most likely, you could be a white demographic right now and work in minority serving institutions and been brought in on this money, and you're finna feel it. You finna feel it. And so, are you gonna complain? See, it's like this. If you depended on the government, like, if you thought this wasn't gonna go nowhere, like and subscribe. If you thought this wasn't gonna go nowhere, or you thought this funding wasn't gonna happen, guys, we just talked about in 2016 when we was in high school. Like, this happened back in 2016, similar. Funding getting cut in higher education. This happened back then in the first term with Trump. So, you thought it wasn't gonna happen again when he was coming? He has his agenda. He has his plans. And so, I'm 26. G is his age,
right? Because it's me and G in here, and if you're watching this and you replay this, and so we are pretty young, but we have the idea to know. I'm nonpartisan. I got the sense to know, especially where I grew up. I got the sense to know nothing lasts forever. Like you get used to a lot of things being in a poverty environment, besides guns and liquor stores and food deserts. Besides all of that, one thing you get a clear view on in the political justice system or government or whatever you want to call it, you understand that nothing is gonna last forever. I seen more things taken away, like with the government doing things, shutting things down, this changing, hearing my mama complain about it, hearing people complain about it in that community to the point where you just be like, bro, you can't depend on this, man. This ain't the way. So G said right here, we having some good conversation right now. I wish G had a mic right now. So right here, G said, well, I was saying it's important to feel that so that you can feel that with someone else and help them move forward with their experience. I also feel this is a very temporary thing. Okay. Exactly, especially when dealing with the government. Right. G said, so G feel like this is a temporary thing with the minority serving institutions. I'm gonna be real. I do think it's temporary. I don't think it's gonna get I don't think the money gonna come back until the next administration, whoever that is. G said, you honestly can't depend on these handouts, even if you are definitely entitled to them. Right. You can't. Like and subscribe. You can't. And so G said, I need to get on the mic. Yeah, you gotta get on the mic one time. You gotta get on the mic. Especially if this, especially not if, when this channel keep growing, we keep upgrading and growing. Yeah, you gotta get on the mic. When we get more, yeah, you definitely go get on the mic. I don't yeah, exactly. I mean, this term temporary. Yeah. We gotta put that in there, that clarification, G. Because guys, this money not gonna come back until like if depending who win in the next administration, I can't see the future. But that's when they'll come back. G said, I ain't getting on there. G said, you get too big? Nah, I ain't getting on. G said, G said, nah. I'm gonna stay. I like my solitude. As G said, I like my solitude. I want to get on while you're small, LOL. When I upgrade the studio, I got you. If you open to it, I got you. I feel like you're a cook. Can't be saying that crazy though, G. G might get us canceled. G go get G get on saying da 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 da. But I know you ain't gonna say that too crazy. You gotta keep your solitude. You gotta keep your solitude. You gotta keep your solitude. So so right here, real quick, it says college leaders objected. Without this funding, students will lose the critical support they need. You see, here it go. We're going back to this. Without funding, students will lose the critical support they need. G said, I be cooking all the time. If you know me, you know I come with it every time. Oh God. Hey, 21. One thing you know about me, guys. Before you try to say I'm this and that, I'm very in tune with myself. I'm very in tune with music, myself, and everything. 21. I'm a big 21 fan. I like 21 Savage. I like his growth. On the sidebar, read that real quick. Before we talk about the keep talking about minority serving institutions, because we only gonna talk about these two today. Not talking about nothing else. We just talking about this the whole time. I am a big 21 Savage fan, believe it or not. You see Jay-Z back there. I'm not a big Jay-Z fan. I'm more a big Jay-Z fan on his business mindset and philosophies. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know who taught me? G. I want you to guess real quick. G, do you know who real quick, do you know who do you think? I think I said it before. Do you know who I learned my financial literacy from without even realizing it early? Like the first time I heard financial literacy in a song or music, you gonna be crazy. Who you think it was? Who you think it was? Take a guess. Well, you get one guess though, G. You get one guess. And then I'm gonna read your other comment. I'm gonna read your other comment then. gonna read your comment. I see your comment right here. Who you think the first person I heard when it came to learning like financial literacy, ownership, things of that nature? It wasn't in no book. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It was a rapper, Future maybe. Nope. I was not even a bit. Now I like Future now a lot, but it was Young Dolph. It was hold up. It was Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. I wish those brothers could have collided so much. Not collided. I wish they could have united so much. It was Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. Yo Gotti because one of my big bros, like my actual big brother. Wow, that's right. My brother. So my brother had like how what's they say? It takes a community. It takes a village to raise a person. Like I got a lot of big brothers. I'm like the baby, literally like youngest, because I was always around my brother friends, but they like big brothers to me. That type of community, and one of them was in the army at the time, and he was playing Yo Gotti music. I was in middle school, and Yo Gotti was talking like investing and this and that, and I just dismissed the other things of like the drug money, blah blah blah, da da da. But he was talking about investments. Like I heard the first word investment, reinvestment, entrepreneurship. These, you hear these. See, we don't. I would say this: we don't give the rappers enough credit. The ones who do talk about that stuff, they do put those gems in there. I do think we should learn how to filter out the other badness, if you can, and find the good gems in it. But man, yeah, it was Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. Definitely Young Dolph in high school. I like the Young Dolph more in high school for some reason. I just like this sound. He had the sound. And then I like them both though. That's the thing. And that goes back to the great man theory. When we get people who look like us, who get into these like high power roles, power economically, some get politically, some rappers are politically tapped in, and they get lost and they get divided by the media. And so they don't understand, they don't have the education to really know like it's media. The whole agenda of a media is to break up pieces and divide you, essentially. And so I just wish those brothers could have united though, man. I love both of their music. I just, that hurt us, man. I don't think they realize how much that hurt us more than it, like, they talk about it in the wrong ways, but it hurt more than it helped. And so G said, I'm going to start from the beginning with G. So G said, and that's the thing people miss the part about this administration, not caring at all about how it affects people. So G is talking about what we were talking about with the minority serving institutions when we were speaking on that. And we was talking about government handouts, like people not realizing that this administration doesn't care. That's G perspective. And I quote, and G saying like every decision they're making does not care about people. That's what G is speaking of. Speaking of, get it? G speaking on that behalf. So G also said, when I was talking about the rappers and how like I'm talking about the positive side of rappers, I went on a tangent about that. And so how those artists introduced me to like financial literacy. Like it started there. The lyrics, the words were coming. And so eventually it came back, But G said, wow, that's crazy, LOL. Believe it or not, I was always pretty good with money. I helped my grandparents manage their money. Growing up. Really? Dang, that's crazy. And shout out to your grandparents for being open to that. Because, man, I got no type of parents. Well, my mom listened to me now. But I got parents, pretty much. They didn't start listening to me until I got older. And I think you know what I mean. They keep you in that kid zone. And so G said, it's hard to block out the crazy stuff. It is. Especially when that's why you listen to it in the first place. Exactly. When you start in that world, it's hard to disassociate from it. It is. unless you literally get out of it or come back and make it better. When you do make it, yep. G said, I quote, when you do make it, yep. It's hard, man. I actually got a book. I should think about writing a book. And then G said, it wasn't hard to listen to me. It wasn't hard to listen to me. You just hit it when you didn't want me to comment on it. LOL. What? It wasn't hard to listen to me. You just hid it when you didn't want me to comment on it. Or tried to hide it anyway. What you mean, G? What you mean? It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to listen to me. Oh, you said, I read that wrong. It wasn't hard to listen to me. You just hid it when you didn't want me to comment on it. I spoke my mind a lot. That's a good thing. That's a great trait to have early. It's a great trait to have early. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I was like, I was still am. I'm a mind my business type of person. Like I'm like, man, like, yeah. So people tend to listen when I speak. Yeah, yeah. Hey, when he's speaking up, listen. So the college leaders, going back to that, everything just relates back. This is very. I like this. I like this conversation. That's the only way I could get the things I want. Hmm. And then we said like college leaders ejected. I said projected. College leaders ejected. Without this funding, students will lose the critical support they need. And it says right here, Mildred Garcia, Chancellor of California State University System, said in a statement, all but one of the system's 22 universities are designated Hispanic serving institutions out there. Wow. So the way the California State system, it sounds like the way the California State University system is like the way it's set up. It's kind of like how the South is a little bit. In certain parts of the South, like how we got predominantly black institutions. Of course, guys, for my people out there who don't know, a PWI initially, but transitions, it's still a PWI, but it transitions into a demographic as a certain demographic takes over the school by them enrolling. So all of these students in at these universities in California, they're university, state schools, all of them in there, but one. All of them but one. So 22 of these universities are Hispanic serving institutions, which means you're going to school with a lot of Hispanics. But now, Mildred, if I say her first name right, Mildred Garcia, it's probably, if that's a she, let me see. Because it's probably not even Mildred. It could be Mildred. That looks like Mildred. Let me see. Hold on right quick. Yes, I probably said it right. Yeah, Mildred Garcia. And so she is saying that, look, this gonna hurt the students. It's gonna hurt some people. Yeah, it's gonna hurt a lot of people. Like, it is. But I'm like, see, I can't even put myself in this category of saying like, that's why I'm like independent, personally, like nonpartisan. Like when I say I'm independent, guys, I'm not talking about politically. I'm like a really independent person. Like I will use resources if needed. I'm a very resourceful person. I believe in using resources. But if I'm gonna prove my point, because I know like people quit to say you only got this or did this because of this, I'm gonna do it independent first. Then I'm gonna use the resources. Because I know when I use the resources, it's gonna be real hard to stop me because I was brought up not to use resources initially. So when I get some resources, it's kind of hard to stop me because I'm used to doing it without the resources, if that makes sense. So G said, yeah, Southern. Oh, G said, of course they are going to object because a lot of these schools are losing a lot of money. A lot of money. And we talk about that, a lot of money. When they should have been trying to figure out how to get more money in the first place. Now they really panicking. I'm telling you, man, when they got lazy, man, in that Biden administration, people got lazy. That was the time to plan. When Biden got office, January, whatever that year was, don't get me. Wherever Joe Biden took office for the first time, that first day, his inauguration, Democrats should have been planning for this. And not even just politics, like the colleges, like university presidents, vice presidents, whoever runs the school, whoever has the say so in these universities, they should have been preparing for this, man. It's always we didn't expect for this to happen. Man, expect for it to happen. I need to, all right, look, man, put me as a university, man, make me the first 27-year-old, I'm 26, Lord. Make me the first 26-year-old university president. I'm gonna have a game plan for, look, G, I'm talking about Smack right now. Well, they were not expecting their second term. You gotta expect the unexpected though, G. You gotta expect the unexpected at this point, man. They really thought the man wasn't gonna win. First and foremost, let's be clear. The man got a criminal activity, criminal record, whatever. He got a criminal record. Let's be real. Jeez, I hear you. He got a criminal record. And the man still was gonna run for president. No, I'm not about to turn 27. I'm not about to turn 27. No. But look, the man got a criminal record. And I know I said about 8 times. But they thought the man wasn't gonna win. Got me looking to the side. I thought someone I said it was the analytics. Like, if he got a record and he's still able to run for office, no, I've been 26. If he got a record and he's still able to run for office, president, oh, you lost. You lost. The fact that he even able to run. Universities, higher education universities should have been getting ready, putting things in position, getting ready. When the dang, what's it called? When the what's it called? When the presidency race was about to start, man, when it was about to start, they should have been getting ready. But they should have been getting ready when Joe Biden took office, though, man. That's just a lack of planning. That's just lack of planning. So, like, look, the next university president, put me in there as a university president. Like, look, we need to have a plan for another pandemic happens. You know? Because you never know. The next pandemic might cause the internet to shut out. I don't know. So you need to have a plan for the next pandemic. You need to have a plan for another president like this. You need to have a plan for... You need to be, as a university president or to your college president, whatever, if you are in higher education president, you need to have a what if this happens. Did we not learn nothing for SpongeBob? Did we not learn anything for SpongeBob? Plankton literally had a plan Z. Remember? Was it Plan Z? Was it Plan Z? Plankton? I remember it was the SpongeBob movie. Plankton. Plan Z. Look, Plankton had that Plan Z, but Plankton had a play. Look, Plankton had a plan from the ABC to Z. He said every plan, look, he always had him a special plan. Like, man, I think I got to go for a home run on this one. He got those lined up. He got those backup plans. But everybody want to be like Mr. Krabs. Everybody want to make the money like Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs didn't have a plan for when stuff happened. That's why he went back to SpongeBob. That's why he went back to SpongeBob. Because SpongeBob was going to figure it out with his underpaid self. G said, yeah, maybe if you get that PhD, you'll be able to become a college president soon. I ain't worried about college president right now. I'm more focused on this right now, G. I'm more focused on this right now. College president? Nah. And then G said right here, exactly. He been planning and trying for 50 years, I think, and counting. I think you've been saying counting, LOL. 50 years. Can't nobody tell me Plankton, hey, if you think you can't be an entrepreneur, go look at Plankton. Are you gonna write that book? Yeah, man. That book. Before we get back on minority serving institutions, G, when I meet you, I'll tell you about that book. But I'm really considering, like, when I get done with school and I get to a point, when I get to that point of I need to do something, you know, like how you need something else to add to your workload. This book been on my mind, and when it's on my mind, 9 times out of 10, when I start writing it down, I'm probably gonna end up doing it, and it's probably gonna be like, depending on how many pages it need to be, I'm thinking 50 to 100. I can't tell you what it's gonna be about, because then that's gonna give people ideas who come into this live stream and they leave. Like and subscribe. You know, people come in this live stream and they leave. They don't stay long. But that book, if I ever get to meet you, G, that book gonna be a game changer. But I'm scared to write it. I'm scared to write that book, because that book is gonna change how people can identify things. And so, yeah. But that book gonna be dope. That book is gonna be dope. It's gonna be something where I have to conduct interviews. It's not gonna be about me, but I did it, and I did it multiple times. I did it a lot of times. It's not about school. It has education. It's not traditional education thinking. It's really just more like how to navigate and move. And so it's gonna be a dope book. But the only way people gonna know about it is when I drop it. So it's gonna be a great book in the future. I've been watching. When I notice nobody releases something and I give them time to release it, it's never gonna happen. So G said, so you think the workload would basically replace your masters? For sure. I think I realized, G. I realized that going to college made me have to do something. It made me have to do something. Like, when I'm not in school, I'm bored. I'm like really bored. So I have a lot more time on my hands, right? I think you relate to that. You have a lot more time when you're not in school to do things. So that's why I feel like the business is gonna be way better off. Oh, that AI workshop, great. I know I do a lot of things the person is teaching right now in it, but it's good that pretty much reinforcing, and I'm actually learning things what not to do in it when using AI. So that's been a real good workshop too. But excuse me, I did want to mention that. So let's get back to the minority serving institutions real quick. Then we can talk, because we only going hour 30 strong. Hour 30 strong. Hour 30 strong. We got 28 minutes. We got 28 minutes plus the review. We're going to review Utah State. We're going to review Utah Valley University. I believe that's a school. And before we start back, G said, I think I said you go to college, talk about this. I think I said you go to college, talk about this, get online and talk about this, and go to work and talk about this, and now you go write a book about this. You make it sound like I have no life, G. Chill. Make it sound like I have no life. Like you don't realize how much you be overwhelmed with higher ed until you be like, well, when you put it like that. But yeah. But it won't be formal. It won't be the formal education of higher ed. This book, like, I know I'm gonna do it. That's why I'm talking about it. You're gonna be surprised at it. You're gonna think it's about higher ed. It's not really about higher ed. It's more how to move. This book right here, G said, nah, I think you just real dedicated to this brand and this brand. I think, are you saying this brand? I think you spelled it wrong. Nah, I think you just real dedicated to this brand of yourself for real. What you mean? Elaborate on that. See, that's why I like G. G made me ask a question. See, elaborate on that, G. Explain. Come on, keep going. Keep going. Did y'all know? If y'all drink this while I wait on G a little bit, This is owned by Celsius now. Celsius bought this company out. Fun fact. It's pretty good. This was a smart move of them buying this. I'm not advertising. I'm just saying. At the time, disclaimer, not financial advisor, but I did have Celsius stock, and I got burned on it a little bit. I held it long enough for it to come back around and sold my positions. So when tax time comes, I can use that as a loss. But I'm gonna just say that. So G said, "Well, we go through season in life, right? And I feel like you are really in tune with this season of your life. Drinking that nasty stuff, LOL. It's pretty good. I don't like this flavor too much. It tastes really like apple. Maybe they changed the formula since then. Maybe it's pretty good. Not this one though. This one is. It's good. It's not my cup of speed. Like somebody in the military had like 3 of these on their desk. Yeah, they had like 3 of these. I was like, bro, they going crazy. It's good, but not this flavor though. I ain't too much big on that flavor. And so G, let's get back in it. And so it says, but the education department does not have the authority to end all minority serving institution programs. It's funny that you just said that, G. You said it might be temporary. You did say temporary. But it said the education department doesn't have the authority to end all minority serving institution programs. It acknowledged. The $350 million in grants being rerouted come from 7 discretionary. I hope I pronounced that right. I know how to say the word. I don't think I pronounced it right. I think it's discretionary. Yeah, shout out to my man. You know what? G, because of you, I might get a Plankton Plan Z picture up here to remind people that look, being an entrepreneur might take 50 years.
Discretionary.
I said it right, discretionary. So it says right here that the $350 million in grants being rerouted come from 7 discretionary programs for institutions that serve a large share of Native, Black, Asian, and Hispanic students. Congress has separately mandated a $132 million. Congress has separately mandated $132 million in minority serving institution spending under other programs for institutions serving many such students. The education department said it would disperse that funding. Interesting. And this one finna be good. This one finna be a good closeout real quick. G said, I seen you said the cup of tea you mean, LOL, not my speed. Yeah, a lot of it is in law, and the government has a lot of discretionary funding to play with. If it's in law, the executive branch can't just not do it. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, this had me thinking I should go, y'all heard my voice get high. This had me thinking I should go to law school for a second, man. Higher education law. Like, higher education is a rabbit hole of like, why is it not more people talking about higher education on the live screen? Discretionary, well, that speaks for itself, right? Yeah, I just Googled it. Discretionary. And then it's like optional, non-compulsory, voluntarily, non-mandatory, available for use at the discretionary of the user. Yeah. Reading, right? Fundamental. But higher education is such a rabbit hole that, like, until they change their ways, you could just roast them, essentially. Like, you know, like, but what kills me is, like, how much people just don't care. Like, people who work in higher education just don't care until stuff really comes from the top. I'm like, bro, it's coming. Like, you can, one thing I like about working in this type of field, if I see things happening, like Trump doing executive orders, I know eventually if it applies to me, it's coming toward me. You know, like, I know it's coming down eventually to me. And then I could get the information before my school. That's one thing I like about this career field. I can get the information before the school. Like, remember, G, when we was talking about the colleges doing not the colleges, but like people spamming these universities doing or colleges, they're like calling them, hoaxing them about mass shooters, campus shooters. Like, we talked about that on the live screen. Then a few days later, I'll probably say a week later, they finally sent out an email at the college about, hey, you might get phone calls about a mass shooter coming. Da, da, da. Bro, we already ahead of that. We covered that on the live screen. So like the fact that people don't really follow things, at least the things they should care about and be aware of, that's more dangerous than like that is more dangerous than like not taking control of your retirement. That is like way more dangerous than that. It's like way more dangerous. You're complaining about more money, but in reality, you should be complaining about more like having some control over the structure that they got in higher ed. At least in my career field, because we got a lot going on in our career field that needs to be said and did and fits. So G said, yeah, I had a lot of friends to get into law school. You told me that too before. But mostly for the money, if we being honest. And later, the more impact stuff. Yeah, it's all about that money, man, when we young. It's all about that money when we young. Because you're going to need the money to make the impact. Then we're going into our infinity stones. Then, like, you got to get the economic power. You got to get the political power. You need to get that charisma power. You need to get I really need to figure out these other ones. I always do good when I say the first three. I need to figure out the other two. I need to figure out the other important two. And then G said, I like the government. G said, yeah, schools move at snails. G said, yeah, schools move at snail's pace. We're talking about like higher education, colleges. They move at snail's pace like government thanks to bureaucracy and old heads set in doing things an old-fashioned way. Yes. Like the government, yes. Well, to pay for law school, then the money for impact, LOL. Well, to pay for law school, then the money for impact. Yeah. So this is interesting right here. Should historically black colleges, per Chronicle Higher Education, should historical black colleges and tribal colleges be nervous about the minority serving institutions taking money? The $350 million in grants, right? Should historical black colleges and tribal colleges be nervous? They are designated as minority serving institutions because of their historic missions, which means it's embedded in the school. It's something to think about, guys. It's something to think about. You can think about this from your largest schools to your smallest schools. But it says not because of their enrollment demographics. A Trump administration official who wouldn't speak on the record told Real Clear Politics that the latest change wouldn't affect HBCUs. They always say that, like, on the record, but then do another thing, backdoor. As we call it in basketball, backdoor. Man, you see, sports, playing basketball, man, you learn a lot of the terminologies are based from life events. He won't shoot in your face, right? The player might come down the court. I'm going to give you a basketball analogy real quick. The player might come down the court. Oh, boy, I'm about to drop you off. They might talk smack. Oh, I'm about to drop you off. Doing their little rock or whatever they doing, you know. Then they throw the ball backdoor. And then the person dunks it on your teammate. You see? Same thing in bureaucracy, politics, higher education, in this career field. It's a lot of backdooring. As soon as you focus on the player up there talking about he finna shoot from three, somebody going backdoor for the alley-oop. And that's what he meant the whole time. See, sports, sometimes I tell you. The bigger picture, though, the move against minority serving institutions is a reversal from January, when the Higher Education Department told the Daily Briefing that the Chronicle Higher Education, I don't know why they use that interchangeably, told the Chronicle Higher Education that the Trump administration, quote, strongly supports HBCUs and minority serving institutions. Move. I think I got it. It said they strongly support HBCUs and minority serving institutions. It also undercuts a key strategy colleges have been using to position themselves for new resources of revenue. Admit, AMID, I believe, is admit projected growth in the Hispanic population in particular. Yeah, so to all my Hispanic people out there, man, y'all been working, man. Education wise, I think I said this before. I read about this in graduate school. Yes, I read about this in graduate school. The Hispanic demographic, man, they've been working. I believe they passed Black Americans and going to college. I want to say they did. If not, neck and neck, passed for sure. Not behind, either neck and neck or past this and going to college. I was having a talk, man, with my coworker, and they told me, like, you know why I do this, G? And I think about this sometimes. Real quick. Yeah, it was that net. I think about this sometimes, man. My coworker was talking about it. We were talking about it. We were talking about, like, as a Black American in higher education, in college. Technically, you can say I'm in education, but you don't see many Black Americans doing higher education. You're going to see Black women. This is specifically about a Black conversation right now. And so you don't see many. I don't see many people like me doing this job. That's why I got attached to it, because I seen one of my mentors doing it when I went to my 2-year college. I seen a good few of them, actually, at my 2-year college. Rare, though. You don't see that often. If you go to another typical college, especially university, you don't see many Black professionals in it. And I think it would help us a lot, because all you need is a degree, a bachelor's degree. If you're not strong in STEM, if you're not strong in, what's that other one? Technology, right? This is a very communication career field. I literally get paid to use my communication skills and provide you with resources. I literally get paid to do that. I agree, there are not a lot of Black men in higher education. Right. I really feel like that drives me to create this. Like you said, a brand, right, G? That includes professors, right? Like you said, G, like this, like we really trying to start something. Like this brand. Because, like, it's so many people from our environment, G, that can thrive in a higher education setting because they have great charisma, communication skills, and it gives them so many resources that I tell people, like, look, man, you're gonna get great benefits. Like, get your money too. Don't work your way to a good number in salary, but really take advantage of the benefits. That's how I was able to get ahead so fast. The benefits, the resources. Take advantage of that. And so G said they neck and neck for enrollment. So we talking about Blacks and Hispanics. And I was saying that Hispanics pass Blacks and going to college. So G said they neck and neck for enrollment, while Blacks by percentage are ahead a bit in having a bachelor's, but Hispanics tend to have a higher graduation rate. Boom. Something along those lines, guys. But any scholarly article, if you go find any scholarly article, that's usually about the neck and neck. And guys, that is at one of my colleges. That's in college schoolhouses when you go find this type of schoolwork, these school readings, these scholarly readings. And G said, I say it every time, but Columbia was ahead of this and is actively funding and supporting Black and brown and other minority students and getting their PhDs. Man, that's just love, man. Like, I know you be saying Columbia, man, but the more you advertise Columbia, the more I be like, man, do I want to? I don't know. Should they call me Dr. Filton? Let me stop. Let me stop. G said this includes at other universities, which is actually where they are putting a fair amount of their focus. So we pretty much reached everything on here. We're supposed to. She's not up yet, so we're gonna keep going. G, we're gonna keep talking. We have a good conversation right now. Let's do our school review. Real quick. Let's do this school right here, Utah Valley University. Let's do that, and then we're gonna come back to our conversation because we reached everything about minority serving institutions in this talking about it. So let's do our review, and then till she get up, cause she ain't up. Let's do our review real quick. So G said, I know this because I went to a lot of the working meetings, where they presented these ideas and asked for a lot of community feedback. See, stuff like that is so powerful, man. That's why I can't wait. That's why I'm grinding now, finding my new why. Finding my new why, as my brother would say, finding my new why, man. Because my first why was to get my education. Once I realized the value, G said, yeah, we be talking, LOL. I said I wasn't going to distract you, LOL, and still did. You didn't distract me, though. No, G, how many times I gotta tell you this? But I guess it helped you wake up a little bit. Yeah, and then, G, let me tell you. There's an agenda to what we talk about, but at the same time, I genuinely know right now ain't nobody cracking this open right now. And I genuinely understand that, feel free to jump in. I genuinely understand and know nobody's going to watch my old videos. Maybe you, maybe somebody else. Rare. I don't watch old videos on people unless I'm really attached to a YouTube channel. Like one of the people I watch on YouTube, I go watch their old videos to learn about the stock market. Rare though. Rare. That's probably the only YouTube channel. I'm saying that many people are not going to watch my old YouTube videos. They're not going to watch my old live streams. They might go watch a little bit to be like, oh, he really was talking about that back then. Then they're going to jump out. Hello, he said, I ain't. So, people going to catch our live streams, G. They're going to catch them when it's going to look all better. When they start realizing how valuable college is. This was more about breaking news relating to real life, which one of the things I learned in college, at least in my major, my degree, is taking things about what's going on instead of always reading at a screen. That's English 1102, G. You took English 1102? I'm assuming you did. English 1102. No, that's American Lit. That's American Lit. American literature. I learned that. Taking one line in poetry and writing a whole essay about it. Taking one line, writing a whole essay about it. And then how it can relate and pulling these different experiments and educations in life and to get your point across. And so, started 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. I can't stress that enough. Started 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. I have been certainly enjoying the conversation and the more laid back feel like we yeah, because it's gonna come when it comes. And then I actually took it in 11th grade, a class similar. Dang, you took that early. I didn't take that till I got to college. It's crazy. So for example, right there, students who might watch this or parents might be like, what is American literature? Shoot, in 10 years, will they even be taking American literature in 10 years? Something to think about. Something to think about. Something to think about. I love Utah Valley. Let me make sure. I think that's the school. That's the school Chronicle Education said. They wasn't even dropping the name. Gee, they was hiding the school name. The school didn't want no attention on this. I went to rather a particular high school. You did. If I'm not mistaken, you say you went to like more of a. You went to more of like a STEM type of school, more like a You went to more like a. Don't tell me. Technology school. You went to a science and technology school. That's what it was, I believe. Exactly. I would want the attention either. Oh yeah, G said I wouldn't want the attention either if I was the school. Yeah, they wasn't even dropping the school name at first, but I found it. Shout out to Chronicles of Education. So right here, even NBC News is mentioning that. I didn't even notice. NBC News got a headline saying how universities handled security for Charlie Kirk. I mean, these schools about to get in trouble, man. These schools about to get in trouble. It was a STEM. It was STEM. Well, technically a math and science school, but Bill excelled in arts and humanities as well. Man, put me in a school like that. Yeah. So the school is called Utah Valley University. And so right here, their mascot is Willie the Wolverine. They were founded in 1941. It's a public university, and if I say this right, in Orem, Utah, OREM, Orem, Utah. They offer master's, bachelor's, associate's degrees according to Google right now. And they previously used to be called Utah Valley State College. And then the school attained its university status in July 2008. So they used to be more of a state school, then they became a university. Interesting. And so G, before we start reviewing the school, G said, "Yeah, I knew where he was going to be speaking. I did not. That's crazy." Now, political figures are not going to be dropping when they coming. Oh, FYI to people, Trump was moving like that too. He does that a lot now. Ever since they attempted to assassinate him, he does that. Kamala does that. Charlie Kirk should have been doing that. I think we in that time for real. If you think about it, well, people knew back then before technology, but I think it should be. I know you like, well, how you gonna know if your people gonna show up? Oh, they gonna find a way to get there in time. The people who really care, genuinely care for you, they gonna find out regardless. They don't have to be on social media. They gonna find out. If somebody really wanna know where you at, they gonna find out. But they did not. NBC was talking about the security at the school. Yeah, they ain't handle that right. Well, you know, they took her Secret Service detail. Man, they didn't. Gee, you want let me say, man. Let me say this. Kamala still got her Secret Service. It would be. I think anybody with military service on the podcast, for some reason, we got people who are in the military on the podcast. We got Secret Service people on the podcast. For FYI, that surprised me. By the way, that we got people who do some high level 3-letter agency stuff, and they're just talking about it on camera. That is crazy. But Kamala Harris, she got it. She still got it. It wouldn't be safe for the country. I'm gonna say that. It wouldn't be safe to do that. It wouldn't be safe. Because if let's just think of this on a basic level of sense. I didn't go to no big school Ivy League to know this. If somebody gets a hold of her and try to get information out of her that she knows, she has one of one. She has the 1% of information that America knows. If somebody gets their hands on her and try to, make her spill information, yeah, that's not safe for us. But G said, but they just took that away as well. Yeah, she got it. They gonna keep her protected. They're gonna keep it for the sake of the country. They're gonna keep her protected. I wouldn't. G, you know better. I know you just making conversation about it, but let's get into it real quick. Utah Valley. After this, we're gonna keep going because I don't think my girly friend, I don't think she is up right now, and we supposed to do something. and she's not up. So I'm gonna keep going on the live screen with G. Ashley, I gotta read for school. So Utah Valley University, they have about 27,500 undergraduate students. 4-year public city large. The graduation rate is 44%. They're way below the graduation rate. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know anything about this school. Nothing. So they got a 44% graduation rate. That's below the 58% mark. The average annual cost to go here is $8,000. According to the College Scorecard, is $8,500 pretty much, which is way below the average annual cost. That's really good, guys. In our perspective, that's good. It doesn't cost that much to go there. And they said when you go to this school, you can have a potential return of $55,500. That's not bad for such little. And it makes sense because this school used to be a state university, but they're not. Now they're more a state college. Now they're a university. But since they're a state college, or since they was a state college, they're a university, but they still got state college prices. So Utah Valley University, tuition and fees. So you see my speaker back there, G? Got a speaker in the corner. Music is life. In my retired days, I'll probably be a DJ. Because my dad a DJ. Fun fact. Because when we get the equipment we need, when we get the studio equipment that we need, my dad would definitely be on here. That is my guy. That's like, legitly, my dad is my best friend, to be legit. Like, my brother, cousin, that's like my brother. Like, I got a big brother, I got a little brother. My brother, cousin, you know, he like part of the big brother because he's older than me. But my dad is like my best friend, bro. That's my dad, man. I talk to that man about everything, especially in these times where people don't understand much. Yeah, I talk to him about everything. I just thanked him the other day, G. Matter of fact, I thanked him the other day because the way the way people our age dress, like, ain't nothing wrong with the way they dress, but they style just not like mine, humbly. The way they talk, dress, think, whatever, man. It's just like, I'm just glad I had a dad in my life. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. Because you can't punish me for having a dad. And so, Utah, and we're gonna talk about it, G. Utah Valley University, if you take a 12 credit hour schedule, it looks like you're going to be looking at 12 credit hour schedule plus fees. You're looking at $3,253 at Utah Valley University. So I'm gonna do didn't click my calculator. I'm gonna do three. Y'all know me. I like to round numbers out. So I'm gonna do 3,300. I'm gonna do 3,300 times 2. So you're looking at about 6,600 per semester with their fees and their tuition. Not bad at all. Now compared to the College Scorecard, they said every year, or the annual cost every year, you're looking at $8,500. That's like $2,000 under when we go to the actual sticker price on the school website, which is very good. It's very good. And so now it could vary. You know, some schools change it based on your major. So sometimes it costs a little more based on your major. Like if you're going to be in a little medical area, your books might be more expensive because everything in medical is a little more expensive. That's very good though, so far. So now, you know me, I like to do times 4. Now look, if you're going to stay on campus, because this is a university, if you're going to stay on campus, You gotta factor in at least an estimate of $2,000 and more for your meal plans and for your dorms. If you don't, you're gonna get burned severely when budgeting for college, or be surprised. But right now, I'm gonna do it without the room and board, extra 2,000, because the prices seem pretty good so far. 3,300 per semester ain't too bad, especially with the return on investment they have for like what students make when they leave the college. So 6,600 times 4, even though we graduate in 5 or 6, well, not me, but people graduate in 5 or 6. That's not bad. You're looking at about 26,400 if you stay off campus at this school. If you stay off campus at this school, 26,400. That ain't bad. Staying off campus though. I'm not factoring in room and board and meal plans. So keep that in mind. And then, like I said, in 10 years of being removed from the institution, they're above the midpoint. You could be making 55,500. That ain't bad, man. Like, that's a great return on investment. You gonna only pay like 26,400, but potentially you're gonna be making about 55,000 or more within 10 years of being removed from the institution. That ain't bad. This school better than some name brand schools right now. So graduation rate. Remember we said the graduation rate wasn't too good, but they can hopefully make that better in the coming years. Students who return after their first year, this is not good. This is an F as well. So they said they got a 69%. I could round it to 70%, but I don't know. They put 69 on the college scorecard for a reason. So students who return after their first year is 69%. Students receiving federal loans is 14%. That's very low. But it says the minimum debt you would have after going here is about 15,000. Rounded. I'm gonna round it to 15,000. And so typical earnings, we talked about that. This not good either. Well, the college scorecard will have your school looking terrible. So they say you have a 71% chance of earning more than a high school graduate. Jeez. I need to look at my school, man. But check this out. The school has an 100% acceptance rate. I wonder, so Utah Valley University has an open admission policy. Interesting. Which means that all students who apply here are accepted. The admission test score, SAT, ACT policy for Utah Valley. So Utah Valley University, I don't know why it flows like that. They should do better with the name. Utah Valley University, SAT, ACT is unknown. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. If you know you're going to an open admission school, I would not recommend. If you know you're going to a open admission school, I would recommend, because you have a 100% chance of getting in, I would recommend you not taking the SAT, ACT. Most people pay for that. They take those tests. I'm going to recommend you not to take that if you're going to open admission. If you're for sure going to open admission school, go use the college scorecard. Call the school. Use the college scorecard. Call the school and find out for yourself. So, what do I rate this school, guys? I rate this school personally, if I'm transferring from my 2-year college, you know me, 2,500 to 3,000 is my purchasing power. Theirs is like 3,300. So that hurts them a little bit, but I'm gonna rate them looking at the job placement, looking at students who returned to their first semester. So they got some internal things going on at this school, but the prices look good though, man. I ain't gonna lie, the prices look really good. And it's in Utah. I don't know what the cost of living in Utah look like. I'm going to slap them with a B. If the prices would have just been, it really wasn't the prices. It really was some other things, like the graduation rate is a freaking 44%. That's bad. And so it's below the midpoint for 4-year colleges, which is a 58%. So their prices helped them out a lot. but they other internal things like running the school and helping the students is very low. So you still get a B because you could be like, prices weren't bad, but that is high. But it's like most students in this time right now, looking at it, only go to school for pricing. Like, so hopefully, guys, when you go to this school, hopefully they treat you right and you do what you need to do. You go here and they treat you right. It's a B. A's, tuition good, school name brand, you got some noble alumni, you got good. It look like you got a bright future going to this school. But this school right here could be a B. Like, I can't complain about them prices though. I ain't gonna lie. They probably would have got me transferring out. Nah. Utah too. Nah, they probably wouldn't have got me though. They probably wouldn't have got me, but I could have went there. You know, never know. So yeah, I get him a B. G said, "Wow." Yeah, he get a B. He get a B. All right. New drink, new Alizé. Shoo-bee-bop, shoo-bee-bop. So, all right. So I'm gonna update you on Linda. G probably like, I don't want to hear about Linda. I'm gonna update you on Linda. I've been keeping track with my girl Linda. Been keeping track with her. Linda been where's she at now? Man, Linda where's she at? Man, where Linda, man? Give me a few seconds real quick. I got her saved on here. She be posting on LinkedIn. I'll listen because you want to tell me. I was just gonna tell you, I think she doing, I don't know if I mentioned, but she doing this tour. She doing like this education tour. And I am just looking for her. I'm looking for future boy. I'm looking for. What you got, Linda? But I think she's right here. Let me see. I'll go to 11 on my time. I'll go to 11 on my time as well. So right here, okay, 2 days ago they posted she had just wrapped her tour up. She was in Austin, Texas. So Linda is in Austin. She was in Austin, Texas. And then G said Rashida put out a tweet calling her a danger to public ed. Woof, boy, they know they be messy, boy. They know they be saying anything and everything on the media. Crazy work. They say everything. They say anything and everything. They say anything and everything on the media just to be shaking hands in public. Bureaucracy at its finest. So, yes. I did want to find a video, though. I did want to find a video on Linda about how they're reacting to this, about the minority serving institutions. So I'm definitely finna go find that clip real quick. I do want to find a video on that. It's got to be a video on it. It's on it, right? For real. But I do agree, LOL. Like, they say all this on the internet, they ain't gonna be shaking hands with them, taking pictures with them. I'm like, hey, so when you just talking about them, and like when you just saying they're a danger to the public education, and you know, like, yeah. Linda McMahon. Let me see. Let's see how smart YouTube is. If they're gonna take me to it. I said MSI. Man, they still taking. See, look, YouTube, man. Let me tell you something, man. Somebody need to write YouTube. I think I need to do it. YouTube ain't doing right. They taking me to stuff 6 months, 7 months ago. Like, YouTube don't understand what MSI stands for. I gotta type it in. Minority serving institutions. Because I type in MSI, try to do the short way. It's taking me to all this other stuff. Man, I tell you, I can't win out here. Can't win out here, G. So I'm gonna do this then. I'm gonna take out Linda then. Minority serving institutions funding. Cut. Let's see if that takes me to it. Hey man, I just want to let everybody know my competition ain't bumping with me, man. I'm really starting something different and grinding out here, G. We really grinding. Yeah, it's not even on YouTube. They showing me stuff from 3-6 years ago. Terrible. Terrible. Unless you know that people are not looking for higher education on YouTube. She's still just another politician, though. Yeah. It lets you know, man. Nobody is looking for this stuff on YouTube. Who's the competition? I don't have none, man. I go look at this higher education stuff on YouTube, man. It's disgusting when I look at it. It's atrocious. Oh, I said atrocious. Oh, it's despisable. It's I don't even want to say the other words. It might be so hurtful. That's how my vocabulary can get sometimes. It can get so you know. I actually think that's kind of true. It's just like I think just putting a better camera view, like getting a better camera view, would easily put me ahead of my competition. Because higher education, the competition out there, at least trying to do YouTube, like it's just like me just having a good camera will slide me way over. Like I'll listen to him. He ain't even gotta say the right things. I'll listen to him. But she didn't even post about the minority serving institutions yet. About them cutting the funding. She didn't even post it. She reposted it, but she didn't post it. Which is interesting. Yeah, she reposted it, but she didn't post it. It says right here. She said, I quote Secretary Linda McMahon from LinkedIn. She said, discrimination has no place in the United States. Taxpayer dollars will no longer support education grants that preference one race over another. She said, we will continue fighting to ensure that students are judged on their individual merits, not their race or sex. And this is pertaining to the right here, Trump administration ends $350 million in grants for Hispanic serving institutions. They say Hispanic serving institutions, but so I guess it's minority serving institutions. That's the umbrella, right? And then under that umbrella, it's Hispanic serving institutions. So I know we talked about it before, but that's the latest on it. And so, yeah. And then G, what did he say, G? G said, nice word choice. Is there anything else? Is there anything else, G? Did I miss anything when I was talking during the review? Trump doesn't care. G said, when you get the equipment, that's pretty cool to hear. You close to your family, real tight. Yeah. Family over everything. And then G said, you talking about Valdosta? Yeah, I was talking about Valdosta, G. I was talking about Valdosta. I wasn't talking about my 2 years. I was talking about Valdosta. And then G said, I'll listen because you want to tell me. And then, okay. G said, you missed quite a bit. G said, the problem is that the nation was never actually meritocracy, especially higher ed. You missed quite a bit, but it's fine. What I miss, G? What I miss? I know some other things in here we didn't cover. For sure. Top five. There's some other stuff in here going on. There's some other stuff. But the main goal was to talk about minority serving institutions and Charlie Kirk, man. Those are the highlights of this live stream. The other ones we could talk about tomorrow. What you think? Something you're pondering on, G? Is it something you're pondering? But you got other stuff done. But you got your stuff done. Oh, okay. I'm gonna say something pondering on your mind, G. Something else pondering. And yep. So we did almost 2 hours. I went over intentionally this time. I was done really at the 1:30, between the 1:30 and 1:35. I just wanted to keep going because I was like, yeah. But we're gonna be on tomorrow Friday. Yeah. We're gonna be on tomorrow. And so then we'll cover different areas since hopefully I got the Saturday. Yeah, I got the Saturday. So tomorrow gonna be different. Nah, I might do that before I get on. Yeah, tomorrow I might do that before I get on. I've been thinking this strategy. But we'll be on tomorrow for sure. We so locked in and consistent now. Like, it's just like we're gonna do it. It's just like we're gonna do it. G said I have had another project I put on the back burner that I want to work on now. Huh. What's that project, G? Is it classified? That's cool to hear you going to bed or doing some reading. I'm gonna read. I need to read this other article for school. It's actually due tomorrow, the discussion. Yeah, you could say yeah. But what's that project though? What's that project you got though, G? You gonna elaborate? What's that project you got? What's that project? You gonna give us the scoop? What's that project, G? What's that project? What's that project? I just wanna know what it's about. I don't wanna know exactly what is it about as you type. I wanna know what it's about. That's all I wanna know. Like, I hear project a lot, but I just wanna know what it's about real quick before we slide out. We don't have time right now. You. But maybe when I get on the mic. All right. Gee, crazy. G said, we don't have time right now. But maybe when I get on the mic. All right. All right, that's all. Peace. Chicken grease. Can't wait to get that shirt. Peace. Chicken grease. We'll be on tomorrow. Hopefully we see you tomorrow, G. If not, have a safe weekend. If we don't catch you tomorrow, drive safe. Be safe. And remember, it's always going to be somebody trying to mess with you, attempt you. So remember, when you walk down that hallway, G, I got one. You got one made? Nah, not yet. Coming soon, though. Don't put me on no tight deadline on it. Coming soon, though. For sure. Coming soon. So, yeah. A lot of things are coming. Gotta keep that secret. Everything. Hey, things falling into place a little too smooth. Got me a little like. But, yeah. All right, y'all. Catch y'all tomorrow. Catch you tomorrow, G.